So welcome to my spoiler talk on The Last of Us Part 2. Dare I say, the most controversial game of the last decade. I think so, without a question, for certain. And I knew it was going to be. I played through the game, I recorded my review, and I put it together, and I'm like, you know what? It's going to get crazy after this. It's going to be crazy. Because I knew a lot of people were going to love this game. But I also knew there'd be a lot of people who hated it. A lot of people in between. A lot of people who didn't get it. A lot of people were just like, to do the whole thing. Or a lot of people who didn't even want to enjoy it to begin with. Because they just thought, hey, some of my main characters are getting killed here. And that's what I'm going to say. This is a spoiler talk. So after this, nothing but spoilers. And when I played the game initially, I never captured any footage for it. So I'm just going to use some stock footage to talk about some elements, but I'm going to talk about as much as I can to say the reasons why I like the game and some things I thought were funny and some things that I thought were interesting. The thing is I never gave a score in the game. And maybe I'll give a score at the end. I'm not sure yet. But what I will say is going in, I was like, this game is going to turn people off for sure. Because now I can say it. We all saw the leaks. We all saw that, well, a lot of us did, that Joel was killed. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you do this to my favorite character? I loved Joel. I loved Ellie. I loved them together. I loved the first game so much. It was all about their intimate relationship, a replacement for his daughter, per se. And it was this journey of that, and it built over time, and it was wonderful. And I really, really enjoyed that. So when I saw all the shots of Joel getting hit with a golf club, right? I was like, I think I'm out of this game. I don't want to play this game. I don't want to be a part of this. So that's why I initially said no to reviewing it. I thought, no, I don't want to do it. But some other reviewer friends of mine said, you know what? You really need to play the game. You need to, say what you think about it. You can't just hide away from it. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And I knew I'd be asked a lot about it. So I was like, yeah, I'll play the game. So I played the game. And it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot different than I thought it was being. Do I absolutely love the game? Yeah, I do. Is there some things that are kind of unusual and strange? Yeah. Let me say, I'm going to tell you, and this is going to shock you, why I love the game. Because it's the opposite of a lot of other people out there. A lot of other people are saying the exact opposite to me. And it's gonna sound crazy what I'm about to say. I love the bleakness. I love the brutality, the anger, the revenge, the hatred. And that's all it is. That's all of the game is. That's most of what the game is. And I really like that elements. I love them, in fact. I kind of really enjoy them. But that's very different than the first game. And here's what I'm going to say. I think if they redid, and this is just my opinion. If they redid the first game again, it wouldn't have had any impact to me. It would have been another story where Joel got injured or Ellie got injured, who's really dead, and double crossing, some stuff going on. And that could have been good, but that would have been too much samey. And I think they went in such a crazy direction. And it's something that I don't think I would have ever thought up to do. Nothing I would have come up with the idea to do. And I know a lot of people are going to start talking about Abby here. Let's talk about Abby. I got a lot to say about Abby. A lot to say. When I saw initially that this character, Abby, had killed Joel from the leaks, I lost my mind. I was like, I don't know who this is. I mean, I had to play as this character? I don't want to do that. I don't want to play as this character at all. Like, screw this person for killing Joel, my beloved Joel, our beloved Joel. And then so I started playing the game, and I at first I wasn't with Abby. And yeah, they're trying to make her, emotionally feel for you, with her father and all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, they're trying to make me like Abby, and I still kind of don't. And I'll say this much too, before we get right into it. Is me and my wife were laughing all the time when Abby's running with these huge arms, and we're like, I ended up calling her Abs, because all she's doing is opening doors with the arms, beating people up with the arms, choking people with the arms. Always the choking, cracking. And using her as a character is a lot of fun. And she's brutal. She's brutally brutal. But it was kind of interesting. But I was like, here's why I justified her appearance. Is it's fascinating when you see her as a young girl. She's not like that at all. She's just got a normal physique. But it's after her father died, she snaps and she wants to get revenge. So she absolutely builds all this absolute outrageous muscle and wants to murder people, Sarah Connor style. And that's kind of what I took her as, like a Sarah Connor style of character. I talked to my friend JKB about that. We both agreed that's why we liked her. But we didn't love her. No, because she killed Joe, right? Anybody kills Joe, we're not really down with that. But over the course of the game, I start to like her more, and I'll tell you where I really liked her. I have to save that for the end. But let's talk about Ellie. Ellie is so brutal in this game that it's disturbing to such a level that she's psychotic. And it's like, how did that young girl in that first game go to this? And it kind of shows you. And you're like, it's just really disturbing, her journey all the way through it. Like, when she goes and kills all those people in the, kind of the beginning of the game, beginning, middle, and she has to go back to her girlfriend at the theater, and she's just like completely, like, she's not saying anything. And you is, for me, I can speak for you. Me, I sat there and I was just like, she snapped. She's just lost it. She's entered a new plateau. But I saw her as a character enter that. Did I go into this game knowing what, Ellie's character, what was going to happen to her? No. Was it fun to watch? Yes and no. As I say, I liked her being so brutal and when she was in the hospital and she just starts beating that woman, I'm like, oh my, my hands are in the air. I think this game shocked me a lot. And I think I enjoyed being shocked. And as I say, that violent shock as well. And so there's some of the character stuff there. But yeah, did I ever get over Joel? I liked it that they gave me some flashbacks and things like that and gave me some moments. And kind of was showing me that I know, but why some of these characters and why all of these characters are almost inherently bad. And but they're good. It's strange. It's strange levels they're doing with the characters. But just for the action and stuff like that, I just want to say this game was very much like Resident Evil for me. A lot more. Especially some of the action, especially some of the creatures. And oh my god, that fight in the hospital was adrenaline pumping. That huge creature's coming at you. And I'm like, oh my god, this is absolutely freaking amazing. I got my flamethrower out. And I'm like, this is like straight out of Aliens. It felt fantastic. I had a lot of fun with that. I loved, just lobbing bombs in general and seeing people explode into the side. As I say, I did not shy away from the violence. In fact, it was very therapeutic for me in a lot of ways. I got a lot of anger inside of me out through this game. And so for that, I applaud the violence. I absolutely applaud the violence. I don't applaud real life violence, but in video game violence and movie violence, I'm all for it. I'm all for artistic impression that way. Artistic impression with violence, but I had a bit of fun with it. I liked some of the new places we went to. The stadium, compound was absolutely so neat to go into. And I think The Last of Us would make a great movie. Maybe for a lot of people, just the first one. Sure. But The Last of Us is such an interesting world that I would love to see it in movie form. But I could just go on and on. The driving sequences, the boat sequences, the graphics. There's nobody can deny that the graphics are amazing. People can hate the story. People can hate the characters. They're allowed to hate the characters. I get it, I'm liking this stuff. A lot of people do not like it. Fine. It's totally okay. I got no problem with that. But some of the environments at the end were just so extraordinary. Like, with all the scars at the end, and you're going through this, all the buildings are on fire, and you're on the horse, and you're just like blasting at everybody. That is just wonderful. It had some really amazing action sequences, and especially Ellie at the very end tracking Abby down. and getting to that beautiful tropical areas that they did in the game. It was like we went from the worst place ever to beautiful land, but it was still haunting and terrifying at the same time. And that's something else I just want to say. One thing that made this game haunting for me and strange is that it was, at the end, realistically, all females, all girls. And that would put me on edge. And I'm going to sound bad here, but, the way I was brought up, I'm very protective of, my sister or my mom or something like that. So seeing all these women, I'm not saying women aren't strong or anything like that, but I feared for them more. I was more scared for them because I thought, geez, it's like, and they were so much more psychotic too. So they put me on edge. If I had just like the guys from Gears of War running through, I don't think I had been as on edge type of thing, but they were, that put me on edge a little bit as well. But anyways, let's get to the part that I really liked. The part that actually kind of choked me up a little bit. So, and it's to do with Abby's looks, which is fascinating. So, we're introduced to this character, Abby. And a lot of people don't like this character, as I say. But her running around, I was having a few jokes as well about how strong she was, of course. And she was buff, crazy strong, all throughout the game. And then when Ellie, at the end, finds Abby, and Abby's strapped to this pole, and she cuts her down, and Abby's like absolutely exhausted and finished and done. She was left for dead. And Abby gets up, and she's super thin, and she's super weak, and she's super done. And there Ellie is saying, no, this is not over. And I'm like, fucking Christ, man, seriously? Like, let's just end this. Like this has got to end. Like, just stop. I didn't want them to fight each other. And it was just, I felt it was so sad that the progression of Abby, to being super strong and almost being a meme to completely just finished, and then the big fight at the end and all of that. And that was just ridiculous. And I think a lot of people are upset that Ellie doesn't get revenge for Joel, that she lets Abby go. But I think it's so open for interpretation, this game, in a lot of ways. I think she realized when she had that flashback of Joel that she's just got to let this go. And then here's the thing. I talked to my friend JKB about this, which is really interesting as well. That Abby, at that point, is being the protector of the, the other, girl. And that's what Joel was to Ellie. And I think for a brief moment, Ellie saw that, and she's just like, I don't want to do this, when you're just trying to protect this person. And at the end, she just leaves. And it's so crazy. At the end, she just leaves, goes back, girlfriend is gone. She tries to play the guitar. She's missing the fingers. She can't even do that. She's lost two things, Joel, her girlfriend, and her two fingers, and her relationship back to the past with Joel, with that, guitar. And it's just to me, it was such a moment, and I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. And I think they left it open at the end, obviously, for a sequel, and I'm sure the game's going to do really well. But wow, I don't know. I'm sure people are going crazy in the comments right now about everything. And then you know what? That's okay. That's okay. We can all verbally get into it. It's totally fine. It's a video game. It's a highly anticipated video game. We've all been waiting for it for so long, and then the leaks happened, and then people are playing it. It's different than what they thought it was going to be. There's so much emotion, and I think it's great because everybody likes The Last of Us. Nobody would care if they didn't care about the first game. Nobody would care. So there's a lot of caring going on, and we'll see. There's going to be psychoanalysis done of this game for so long. People are going to be talking about the ins and outs of it forever, why they hated it. Top 10 reasons why I hated The Last of Us Part 2. Top 10 reasons why I liked it. Top 10 Easter eggs. It's one of those style of games. And I don't think I've ever seen such a controversial game. Death Stranding was kind of out there. I remember that kind of got everybody boiling a little bit. But guys, why didn't you like the game? Or why did you like the game? Let me know down below. And yeah, it's time for me to move on to other games. But let me say, I absolutely love this game. And for me, I think I would give it a 9 out of 10 for sure. So anyways, guys, until next time.